Let's talk about Les Misérables. It's this absolute mountain of a novel by Victor Hugo. We're talking over 1,400 pages of revolution, redemption, and this epic chase that lasts for decades. So, our job today? We're going to try and boil this masterpiece down to its powerful, beating heart. Right out of the gate, before we even get to page one, the book asks you to wrestle with this question. Is a person defined by their biggest mistake, or by their greatest act of kindness? Or is it something else? Just kind of keep that question in the back of your mind, because honestly, the entire story is a search for the answer. And this, right here, this is why the book is still so powerful. Hugo wasn't just telling a story. He was screaming from the rooftops about poverty and injustice. He basically said, as long as people are suffering, this story will matter. And, well, he wasn't wrong, was he? Okay, so the whole engine of this massive story really boils down to two men, a thief and a hunter. They are polar opposites, representing two completely different ideas of what justice even is. And this conflict is going to span decades and change everything for them. First up, let's meet our protagonist, Jean Valjean. And this number, 19 years, that was his prison sentence. You want to know what he did? He stole a single loaf of bread for his sister's starving kid. That one desperate act got him 19 years of hard labor. He gets out a bitter, hardened man, forced to carry a yellow passport that basically screams criminal to everyone he meets. And that law? It has a name, Inspector Javert. This guy is the ultimate legal machine. Born in a prison, he has clawed his way up and dedicated his entire life to the law. A law with zero room for mercy. For him, a criminal is a criminal. End of story. And he becomes Valjean's shadow, hunting him relentlessly. And this is the whole fight, right here. It's a war between two worldviews. Valjean, the criminal, comes to believe that a person can change, that a soul can be reborn. Javert, the law, believes you are what you did. He doesn't see a soul, he just sees the brand on your passport. And this philosophical duel is what drives the whole story. So how do you take a man who spent 19 years being told he's worthless and change him? Well, it happens in one single shocking moment. An act so completely unexpected it shatters all that bitterness. And to get what happens next, you have to understand this one word, grace. It's basically kindness you didn't earn. It's a gift, pure and simple. And for a guy like Valjean, who's never been given anything but punishment, this idea is completely, totally foreign. And you can see it play out step by step. First, the theft. Valjean gets a meal and a bed from this kind old bishop, and how does he repay him? He steals his silver and runs. Then, capture. The police catch him right away, and that's it. His life is over. He's going back to prison forever. But then, grace. The bishop tells the police, "Oh no, you're mistaken. I gave him the silver." And he even adds his most valuable silver candlesticks to the pile. He tells Valjean, "I have bought your soul. Use this to become an honest man." That one act of unearned, unbelievable mercy just flips a switch. It changes everything. So Valjean gets this incredible second chance. He's a new man. But of course, it's not that simple. His past is always there, and his new life is immediately tested by the suffering of other people. And get this, he totally succeeds. He becomes Monsieur Madeleine, a rich factory owner, even the mayor of his town. He's beloved, he's charitable, he's the exact opposite of the man who left prison. But guess who gets assigned as the new police inspector in town? You guessed it, Javert. And he looks at this respectable mayor and thinks, I know that face. Then his world gets even more complicated. A woman named Fantine gets fired from his factory. This one event sends her into a downward spiral, and she ends up selling everything, her hair, her teeth, her body, just to support her little daughter Cosette. On her deathbed, Valjean realizes his part in her tragedy and makes a promise. He swears he'll find Cosette and raise her as his own, and that promise becomes his new North Star. Now, all these deeply personal stories, Valjean's quiet redemption, Javert's relentless hunt, a little girl's future, they're all about to crash headfirst into history on the violent streets of Paris. So here's the quick history lesson. The big promises of the French Revolution have kind of fizzled out, leaving behind a lot of poverty and misery. By 1832, Paris is basically a powder keg, just waiting for a spark. And a group of young, idealistic students provide that spark, kicking off a rebellion that, let's be honest, is doomed from the start. And wouldn't you know it, the barricades are where everybody ends up. Cosette is now a young woman in love with one of those student revolutionaries, a guy named Marius. Valjean, terrified of losing her, joins the rebellion just to protect him. And Javert, he's there too, working as an undercover spy to crush the whole thing. All of a sudden, our main characters are all trapped together in the middle of a war zone. This is it, the final showdown. Amid the chaos and gunpowder smoke of a failing revolution, that decades-long chase between Valjean and Javert is about to come to a head. So the revolutionaries find out Javert is a spy. They drag him out to be executed. And who do they give the gun to? Jean Valjean. This is the moment. The man who has tormented him, hunted him, and ruined his life is now completely at his mercy. So what does he do? He pulls Javert aside, fires a shot into the air so everyone thinks the deed is done, and tells him to run. He sets him free. He does for Javert the very same thing the bishop did for him all those years ago. He chooses grace over vengeance. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because Javert's brain just breaks. His entire reality is built on one simple rule. The law is good, criminals are bad. There is no gray area. But now, a criminal has shown him a level of mercy that his law could never comprehend. His whole operating system just crashed. And he just can't live in this new world. He's trapped. If he lets Valjean go, he's betraying his entire life's code. But if he arrests Valjean now, after the man saved his life, he'd be betraying some higher, more profound law he's just discovered. Caught between a rock and a hard place he can't even understand, he walks to the river sign and jumps. And that's the question Hugo leaves us with. Javert's world of rigid, black and white law shatters the moment it's confronted with radical grace. But Valjean, who received that grace at the beginning, spends the rest of his life learning how to give it away, and in doing so, finds his own redemption. It's an incredible, timeless question about what's more powerful, justice or mercy, and whether the human heart is ever truly beyond saving.